Hi everyone, Lisa here from Forest City Stitching. I hope everyone had a great week. Hopefully the noise from upstairs isn't too loud. Not sure what we're dragging across the kitchen floor up there. But yeah, we did some organizing of the basement and I now have a desk cleared off. I've always had this desk, it's just been piled of stuff. Just cleared off and rearranged it so I can see a TV on this wall. We won't talk about what is behind the camera because it's a bit of a disaster of all the craft stuff and whatnot. But next weekend we'll try to tackle a little bit more of that. So, yeah. And then behind me here, my son and my husband has their gaming situation set up. And then if you've been on any Zoom calls, that's the lamp that usually sits behind me in the chair over there. So yeah, I can use this desk now with my table stand, lap stand, but usually I use it on a table, especially for the bigger projects. And I don't have to keep moving it on and off of the kitchen table. And it can just have a home down here with its projects on, and I don't have to worry about animals and whatnot getting at it. So that is exciting. So I thought I would film down here today because I do have something on my scroll rod to show you. Yeah, so I hope everyone's new year is off to a good start. I have a few new starts to show you, as well as finished, I'm going to say fully finished, but not fully finished, just a finished item, which was on January 1st, so that's exciting to start off the new year with a finish, and lots of whips. So I am participating in Whip Warriors again this year, and their new adventure game. And I am a shopkeeper. I'm a blacksmith. And so it's interesting. I think some people are a little overwhelmed with it all. But I feel like if you it's just a game. And you do what you can do. And it's fine. But it is going to help me with lots of stitches. So that's what I was hoping to gain from that game. Yeah, so you'll see a lot of projects were used for that, as well as I'm participating in Bringo from the magazine monthly challenge as well. Okay, let's get into it. Well, let's just start it off. I was going to start off with finish, but before January 1st, we actually had some new starts, so let's look at those. And a surprise new start that no one knew I was starting, because I didn't even know I was going to start it either until I did. Okay. Yeah, I got everything. So I think this is in the order of the new starts. Blueberry J by JED X Stitch. And so I got my 200 stitches in, and now this is going to go away until baseball season starts again. So clearly you can see that window behind me. But that is how that is looking. So this is on Seabreeze by Roxy Floss, and it is using the DMC conversion. The two threadworks I have subbed them out for the Roxy Floss. Like a weird, yeah, there's like a weird glare right there. Oh well. no setup is perfect. So yeah, so that is started and ready for baseball season. So as I mentioned before, I am going to stitch on it 100 stitches for every like run home they get. So home run or run in they get. For the Blue Jays, of course. All right, so I think I showed you. No, I don't think you've seen either of these. Okay, so I started 2 Artsy Housewives. First one is Within a Dream. I'm doing the shortened version. There's the original one had a skull at the bottom as well, but this is the smaller non-skull one. I'm just not into skulls, so I'm glad she came out with 2 options because I was going to try to edit the design to take that out. There's something stuck on this. Some fluff. So there's my start there. And this is in the Roxy Floss Co. thread conversion. And this is on Pub Crawl. 18 count. I'm getting my use out of the Pub Crawl. I'll tell you. Because the next one is and these were both Patreon charts. I think Within a Dream is being released soon. So the other one is Betsy Boo. And this is my start on it. This is coming in a lot better than when I tried to take a picture of it, that's for sure. So it is on Pub Crawl as well. And I made my own Roxy Floss Co. conversion for it. So this is now going to go in. Karen made me a nice big flat bottom bag, Karen's Stitching Owl, for my Artsy Housewife patterns, projects, I should say. So those are going to go into that bag now. So those are 3 starts. And then I'll show you Flosstube Friends next. So Flosstube Friends was a scheduled start for January 31st with the pattern. It's also the round robin piece. That's my floss conversion. And here's how mine's looking. I'm just going to fold it up. There we go. And there's mine so far. Fold it like that. So I got a start on the border and a start on the First Lady. I decided to get a start on her because for the stitching adventure, I needed to stitch my outfit. So I thought, why not stitch on an actual person? And I don't stitch people very often, so. The dress color that I picked for her is Make a Splash by Roxy. And it was in our Advent countdown this year. So we have until January, February, March to work on our border and the First Lady, and then we send it off to the next person. And my next person just happens to be Karen, Stitching Owl, which works out well for me because I just asked her on Candid Chats if she would serge or zigzag my edges because I can't use a sewing machine. So, and she said she would, so. Okay, and then the unexpected start is the, and this piece is kind of drove me crazy already, is the Fox and Rabbit 2026 free stitch along. So why it's a surprise was because I wasn't going, I didn't have plans to do it. But then on the 31st, it was released, and I still had time to figure out what floss and fabric I could use, and so here it is. Yeah. How dark those couple rows are is kind of bothering me, so I might try to rip those out and try to stitch those again. It's probably just in the variegation of the floss, but this is bothering me. So I was going to do all of this in this ecru color, which is actually Mushroom by Roxy Floss, but the mushroom wasn't showing up very well for these littler stitches. I don't know if that's focusing very well, but it's just like 4 stitches. I'm doing this 1/1 on 28 count. Yeah, I don't know if that's focusing very well on those stitches, but I didn't feel that the mushroom was showing up very well. So I tried another kind of ecru variegation color, and that didn't work. So this is all like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock on New Year's Eve, because I had to get my starts in before the new year. And so I had to frog the 1/1 because I decided I didn't like it. And then during that process, I lost my needle, in which the whole house was looking for this needle. We still didn't find it. So I do hope and think it has to be, because we looked everywhere else, that it just went in between the cushions and down into the couch. Like into the couch, right? Like not going to poke anywhere, like into the abyss of the couch. So that probably took like 30 minutes. Yeah, and I might have had something to drink too. So that probably didn't help anything. But so we got that started. So the pink is Cool to the Yule. So I figured if I added that in, you could see that. And keep the ecru mushroom for when there's more stitches together. So the color palette I have chosen, it's only supposed to be 3 colors, but these are the colors that I've chosen. So Mushroom, this is Cool to the Yule, this is Spruced Up, and this is Old Book. So this one kind of has a combination of all of them. So when I saw that it's a band sampler, I decided to see what I could put together for it. So we'll see how far I get on this. It's a free stitch along. So you can check out the Fox and Rabbit Facebook page. And then it's to download on their website. You can see the link for the 2026 free stitch along. It's on Kind of Country Ada, but no, even weave. It's even weave, but that's okay. Okay, so that's my new starts, and this brings us to January 1st. So January 1st, I did also work on Flosstube Friends, but before that, I worked on, this is my one of my calls for Whip Go, so number 2 on Whip Go, and it's Shimmer from Carolyn Manning, and it was to finish, and it's finished. Looking very shimmery down here. So that is done. So I finished that while I was on the call with Karen the All Stitcher and Allison from AZ Family Zoo. They were nice enough to let me join both sessions. I had told them if there wasn't room, absolutely, I did not need to be on both, but I didn't have anything else to do. So I finished that up. I worked on it on the first session, finished it on the second session on the first. It was also on my Bringo. Now I'm questioning myself. I think so. So the first call for Bringo was whip closest to the finish. So that's how they both intertwined. And then for Bringo for Friday was, I don't have the cover page for this, was stitch on something you would hang in your kitchen. So I pulled out Cookie Exchange, which was a Sal with hands-on design a few years ago now. I have decided to mirror these cookie cutters to the side. So that's what I'm working on, getting that done. And then it's just the stuff in the middle that you need to complete, and then it's done. So it's not very big. All right, and then I started working on, for the stitching adventure, I need to stitch 2,000 stitches to manufacture a dagger. And also, it is the Feisty Focus Sal is happening right now as well. So look at how easy this is. Much easier than my last setup. So I brought out Fruits of Plenty. So that's how that's looking. So I've got a lot done already. I've got about 1,000 stitches in on it since you last saw it. So I completed this area here. There was about 300 stitches needed here. Started over on this area and did all this here. So this here, filling that in, was a pain in the butt because it wasn't in Pattern Keeper. It's in Pattern Keeper now. Yeah, so I spent some time getting it all put into Pattern Keeper. And so I believe I'm at about between 25 to 30% done on this. So now we'll have a little bit of stats if I ever remember to look at that number. So I will continue working on this, well, until I get my 2,000 stitches for my dagger. But also the Feisty Focus, and I'll need to have my numbers in by like end of day tomorrow, because it ends at like 4 in the morning, Tuesday morning. Yeah, so I've been working away on that. And then for Bringo for yesterday, it was stitch on something kind of related to your birth season. I think that's kind of what is the best way to describe it. So I picked Spring Quakers because I'm an April baby. And I only put 100 stitches in on this because we're focusing on the dagger people. But 100 stitches did get me stitching on some tent pegs. So I put in this blue bell here, as well as finished off this flower there, and put violet in there, and I think some yellow on the actual violet flower. So that's how that's looking. I had to put that floss back in there. Let's see here. There we go. Get it squished in there. And then last but not least, I worked on during our candid chats today. There it is. I'm like, where'd the pattern go? Buzz of the Bees by Stitching with the Housewives. And I'm not doing the words, and I'm going to cut off the top flowers. So it's just going to be that bottom section. And that's how this one's looking. So I just need to do down here. Right now my poor chicken doesn't have any legs. Yeah. So this prompt for Bringo was stitch on something chosen by someone else, and of course my son chose a chicken. All right, so that is all that I had to share, I think. So off to a good start for January so far for Whip Go, Bringo, and the new Stitchy Challenge game. So that's going to keep me busy. One other thing is Stitch the Winter Olympics. The prompts did come out. So you can get this from, so it's a Naptime Stitcher. She's on Instagram and Facebook. And I had my inventory list for my shop. Yeah, so the prompts are released for the Olympics. So I have started to fill mine in, but I'll be able to make better determinations for the other spots come closer to February. So that's always a fun game to participate in. So go check that out if you are interested. And yeah, I think that about does it today. So I hope everyone has a great week, and we will see you next week.